All right, so today we're going to talk about what AI really means, how predictive analytics fits into this picture, and how these tools can help us spot patient risk earlier. We'll look at how it can be integrated into our everyday workflows and how we can ensure it's used safely and ethically. And then, of course, we'll tackle the big question that's on everyone's mind. What does this mean for our role in healthcare, and will it take our jobs? So first, I want to start off with a question. What if you could know one of your patients was at risk of crashing before their vital signs ever changed? That's exactly where AI and predictive analytics comes in. It gives us a clearer picture before a crisis hits. So we'll start with the definition of AI. According to the National Institute of Biomedical Imaging and Bioengineering, artificial intelligence is the ability of machines to learn through experience and gain proficiency through example, not just by carrying out computations as instructed by humans. So historically, computers had only done what we told them to do through exact instructions. Think of it as like following a BLS algorithm, very clear step by step. If this, then that. If a patient has no pulse, start chest compressions. Advanced AI, forms of AI take this a step further, and instead of only following those rigid instructions, it uses judgment built from prior data and experiences. So AI can act like an extra set of eyes on our patients, can review thousands of charts at once and pick up on little changes like slight changes in vital signs, lab results, or nursing notes. So in April 2024, the FDA approved a tool called the Sepsis Immunoscore. This tool pulls information from the electronic health record, looking at 22 different parameters or factors, and gives a sepsis risk score, allowing us as the healthcare team to act sooner. So now that we've covered the basic definition of AI, it's important to understand that it's not just one thing. It's really an umbrella term that covers many different domains like machine learning, natural language processing, and robotics. So each of these plays a different role and can even work together. And that matters in healthcare because the problems we face are so varied and diverse. So the different branches you see here on this slide, or combinations of them, can bring different solutions. So AI can sort through that massive amount of data that's produced in images and audio to perform functions to help healthcare organizations throughout the entire care delivery process, from scheduling to diagnostic imaging and to documentation. So at the core of all AI are algorithms, similar to the BLS algorithm we discussed a few minutes ago, in the protocols we follow in our daily nursing practice. So this generally falls into three separate categories. We have sequential, which again follow that step-by-step rule. We have self-learning, which adapt and evolve by analyzing new data and layered algorithms that use a combination of these that work together to handle more complex tasks. So one key technology within AI is machine learning. This allows systems to learn from experience. For example, by looking at thousands of patient charts, a machine learning model can recognize patterns to predict a future outcome. So this encompasses many different approaches, including supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement, and deep learning. So supervised learning is where the system is trained on labeled data where the outcome is already known. So think about giving a model thousands of EKG strips labeled as normal or abnormal. It'll take this information and it can learn how to label new strips as either normal or abnormal. Unsupervised learning is where the system can identify patterns in unlabeled data without being told the outcome. So this looks like a system analyzing patient admission data to discover patterns in their data, such as lab results or comorbidities. Reinforcement learning learns through feedback from actions and experiences. And then deep learning, which is most commonly powering generative AI, takes it even a step further. And this has seen a recent rise in popularity through applications like ChatGPT. So this type of AI actually creates something new, like text, images, or even training simulations, instead of just recognizing patterns and predicting outcomes. So in healthcare, an example of this can relate to clinical documentation. Current models can draft notes in specified formats using transcripts, and there are systems that can even compile health information across multiple systems to help with administrative tasks like insurance pre-authorization. So as we shift from understanding the basic types of AI to looking how it applies in real practice, the key takeaway I want you to walk away with is data is at the core of it all. No matter how advanced the model, AI is only as strong as the data it's built on. So you can think about a practical application as a progression. We begin with the data, which is then analyzed to reveal patterns. And then those patterns become actionable insights that drive informed decision making. This can lead to improved efficiency, cost savings, and even help with strategic planning. So as we sh- there, sorry, there we go. Now with the rise of AI, the natural question becomes, what does this mean for nurses? Will AI change our practice and will it take our jobs? So while none of us can truly predict the future or the exponential growth potential of AI, what we can do right now is focus on how it meaningfully supports the nursing process, almost like an extra teammate. When AI is used appropriately, it can reshape the nursing process by supporting us at every single stage. In the assessment phase, we talked about how predictive analytics can flag patients at risk for deterioration or adverse outcomes. During planning, AI-driven support provides us with evidence-based guidelines right at the point of care, helping us create safer and more effective care. For interventions, AI can power things like smart IV pumps that ensure medication accuracy and provide hands-free documentation that captures charting in real time, so nurses can stay focused on their patients. And then during evaluation, AI can analyze outcomes as they happen. For example, determining if a pain management plan that a patient is on is working and recommending adjustments. Across the process, AI has the potential to strengthen safety, reduce burden, and reinforce the nurse's role in providing high quality care. So instead of allowing AI to replace our critical thinking, judgment, empathy that only nurses bring, AI should be used to prioritize care and enable us to spend more meaningful time at the bedside. We need to think of AI as an extra set of eyes and ears working in the background to keep our patients safe and help us focus on what we do best, which is taking care of our patients. So, but as powerful as these tools are, we can't forget that technology also comes with responsibility. For AI to truly strengthen healthcare, it must be integrated safely and ethically. And a part of that responsibility starts with the data itself. The value of AI is only as strong as the quality and consistency of the data that it learns from. In healthcare, data comes from many different systems: electronic health records, lab, imaging, pharmacy, and even competency management systems like Dossier. And each one of those systems records information just a little bit differently. Without standardization, AI risks making inaccurate predictions or reinforcing bias. Standardization ensures we're comparing apples to apples. So, for example, if one system records blood sugar in milligrams per deciliter and another in millimoles per liter, AI could misinterpret those results without a common standard. Just as importantly, if the data if data from underrepresented populations is excluded or inconsistently captured, our AI tools may make recommendations that would work well for some groups and not for others. So another example of this is if one system captures housing insecurity as a free text note, maybe another system uses a checkbox and a third one doesn't record it at all. An AI model being used may completely miss housing instability as a key risk factor for readmissions. The same goes for other social determinants of health, data points like food insecurity, access to transportation. Without common fields and definitions, these critical factors can get lost in the noise. So all that to say, without standardized data, AI risks widening disparities in healthcare. However, with it, AI can become a tool for equity, helping surface patterns such as the impact of housing and food, insecurity on hospital readmissions, and guiding organizations to direct resources where they're needed most. Now, we can't overlook data privacy and transparency. Protecting patient information isn't just about meeting regulations like HIPAA and GDPR, but it's also about a moral obligation we have to our patients. Patients trust us with some of their most sensitive information, and that trust must extend into the tools we use. Consent plays a key role here. Patients deserve to know if their information is being used to train or fuel AI tools, and they should have the ability to opt in or out wherever possible. And then transparency means we can see and understand as clinicians why an AI system made a recommendation rather than always just accepting an answer. Both privacy, transparency, and consent are all essential for building trust and keeping our patients safe. And that's exactly where healthcare professionals must be a part of the conversation. From the very beginning, it's not just about ethics, it's about making sure AI actually works in practice. Clinicians understand the workflows, the pressures of the bedside, and the realities of patient care. By involving healthcare professionals across the software development lifecycle, AI solutions are more likely to align with the 5 rights of AI in healthcare: the right objective, approach, competency, data, and safeguards. Without this alignment, we risk ending up with tools that look impressive on paper, but they don't fit into our daily practice, or worse, they add burden. By ensuring healthcare professionals are involved, AI will more likely be practical, adopted by staff, and ultimately improve our patient outcomes. So, where do we go from here? As healthcare professionals, we can't simply use whatever tools are available. Instead, we must take on the responsibility to not only stay informed about our tools, but also contribute to their formation. AI is moving really fast, and professional organizations like the American Nursing Informatics Association or HIMSS Health Information Management and Management System Society are already publishing guidance and resources to help us understand what AI is, how it should be used, where the risk lies, and what we should know as a bedside nurse. If we're not at the table for these critical decisions, they will be made without us. It's imperative we advocate for ourselves and our patients so that this rapidly evolving technology doesn't exclude those essential perspectives. So our call to action is clear here. Continue educating ourselves about AI, lean into opportunities to contribute, and most importantly, speak up. Our voices matter in shaping how AI tools are developed, implemented, and regulated. So, with that being said, I want to thank you all and open it up to questions. Actually, Gare, I think, had a few more additional slides as well.
Thank you, Nicole. And yeah, for sharing an overview. And I just want to kind of, before we close out and go further questions, underscore a little bit about how we as a software company take what Nicole laid out and embed it into practice. And I think, first of all, for Dossier, as most other software companies, we need to think about this. We are not developing the AI. AI is technology that becomes available to us from OpenAI or Anthropic through Claude or all these other companies that they create great technology. And our responsibility is to see and constantly observe when these technologies are mature enough. As Nicole said, they are safe and we can use them, and we can use them to create better solutions. So we just take the AI and embed it into the solutions we're basically creating. And as an example, when I think we all remember the fall of 22, when ChatGPT started to come around and we were super amazed by the technology. And we jumped on this very, very fast. Like we created our first Dossier assistant, like basically a bot that could help you with everything in Dossier. We called it Dossier Mate at that time. It actually, we asked it to give itself a name. So it picked Dossier Mate. And it was August 29, and we had ChatGPT at that point. And it didn't work very well. So we ended up playing around with that internally. We launched it for customers. We actually took it down, and we figured out we need to figure out more because this is not good enough. And now we are 3 years later. We released actually soft release. So this is a secret still. You're only want to know this. So it's out there. It's the next or the latest version. There has been many, many versions between of the Dossier Assistant. Now they changed the name, and it's a fully working in-app assistant. And that means now it is a point where it understands the context. So like if you ask a question, it understands where you are in the application. It gives you links and the description to exactly what you need to do. So, and I think this basically speaks back to Nicole's kind of overview. It takes a little bit of time from you see technology to the technology is mature and we are able to successfully deploy it to a workable solution. And another thing I want to kind of piggyback to your message, Nicole, is the importance of involving clinicians, because now we basically change our design process to start to ask in the very beginning, how will this feature or this functionality look with AI in hand? Because now we have a different technology, we have a different piece of enhancing new features. So workflow may be different. And as an example, during this fall, we have released almost 5, or we will release more than 5 features that is very AI driven. So there are places where you, as an example, you take a document, you use the AI to extract the most important information before you continue working. So like AI being deployed different places, and other places where we used to have like a search engine that is very kind of mathematical, picking things that equals your ask. And the AI is a great tool because it can give you something that's associated and it can suggest, but it may not be the right suggestion. So like now we are picking AI and more having them as a part of how we fully kind of conceptually design the feature and functionality. But it's not worth very much if you don't understand the mission and the objective, and that has to come from the clinician side. So working with nurses is basically the best place we can go to find the best use cases to apply the AI. And also, as a software company, I think it's important for us to see ourselves as the crash test dummies. When AI started to come around, we introduced something in Dossier we called AI challenge. So like we gave an award when anyone tried to kind of pick a use case and play around with it. And the result of that has really evolved from there. And now we see some places, very specifically in early stage prototyping, we see from 10 to 100 time save from the time we have an ID to we can test ID. So like the prototyping, the AI, and apps like Lovable. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. You can just describe what app you want. You can actually, as a software company, you can create a prototype and you can shorten down the time to actually test use cases very early on. But there is a big step from there to create fully high quality apps. So like we also see AI producing a whole lot of useless code. So that's another thing. So like we are still in the big learning curve, but there's a super exciting technology, and we want to make sure that we take the responsibility as a vendor to help our customers to utilize and enhance the AI.